Hi, this is Mariah Gullo from The Hollywood Reporter, and I'm in studio with Anna Gasteyer today. Hi, how are you?
Good, I'm great. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm so excited to talk to you on the day of the Christmas Story Live.
Yes, insane.
And obviously we're not taping on the day.
Right.
But
it is...
At this time, when this posts, you will be performing.
I will already have a wig on. No, I'm not wearing a wig. It's my own hair. But I will be...
It is your own hair?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
That's amazing. You've got the 40s hair.
Yeah, I have a lot of hair, so they decided that they were going to just go ahead and do a 40s hairstyle on me, and we had a camera test already and played with it a little bit for some of the publicity stills. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to get to wear your own period hair.
Yeah, I kind of love that time
hair and
period
makeup.
too.
I know,
yeah,
it's so glamorous and it's so feminine. You know, the costumes were there. You know, everything and cute. Like there's a lot of like little aprons with pockets and everything kind of fits your shape really nicely, and it's really great. I love my costumes.
Tell me a little bit about this this version of A Christmas Story.
So, Pasek and Paul, who are songwriters who wrote La La Land, which we're most familiar with from last year, they won a Tony Award as well last year. They won the Oscar and the Tony in a year for Dear Evan Hansen. Mm-hmm. They're incredible songwriters, and they musicalized the story, the movie, A Christmas Story. And this is a musical version. It made its way to Broadway. It toured for a while as sort of a seasonal thing. And Mark Platt, who produced Wicked and who produced Grease Live, is producing this for Fox. And they asked me to come in and do a part in it. So what's really cool, Maya Rudolph is playing the mom, and Christy Metablis is playing the dad. Matthew Broderick is the narrator. Jane Krakowski is the teacher. It's a really fun cast. In the movie, there's this character, Schwartz, who Ralphie blames for teaching him the F word. I don't know if you remember that, right?
Yeah.
And Schwartz takes the hit, and Mrs. Parker calls Mrs. Schwartz on the phone, and you only hear Schwartz's mother through the phone. Mm-hmm. But they decided that it was a television event, and it was a seasonal event, and that they really needed a Hanukkah song, and they decided the person that would be singing that song was Mrs. Schwartz. So they wrote this is a new number. It actually wasn't even on Broadway, so just for the telecast, and I get to sing it, which is really cool. I mean, really like. You know, I have a career that I often am excited by and marvel at because I get to do all these things that I never expected I would get to do, and absolutely the top 3 moments of my life. You know, we're sitting in a bungalow with Pasek and Paul on the Universal lot a month ago with them playing out a song like, "What do you think of this?" and "How about this key?" and it was kind of mind blowing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's fun. Amazing. It's like a big ballsy Broadway, belty, sassy, brassy Hanukkah number, which I think is great because Hanukkah kind of gets the short shrift on so many levels in terms of the season, but in particular, you know, there's not a lot of tunes. Like, you know, people usually cram the dreidel song into their Christmas medley, and you know, this hopefully, you know, will be a new song to add to the canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you're no stranger to live performances, but this is kind of next level.
It is.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, it's a very charged atmosphere. We were talking a little bit before we started rolling. It's very specific musical. You know, musicals are very, very specific. Your feet have to land in a certain place, and the notes go a certain way, and the track is coming on, and there are a lot more kind of potentially disastrous variables. You know, I feel like with SNL, there are plenty of things that can go wrong, but it has a sort of a fast and loose pace to it, you know? So if your wig is falling off, it can be made part of the storytelling. Yeah. Christmas Story Live is a real world that you're going into. It's sort of, I keep thinking it because it's a very magical show. It's less bubblegummy, obviously, than Grease Live was. It's more magical, kind of living inside a Christmas card, or you know, kind of in tone. So I feel like a wig falling off would probably take you out of that. Suspend the magic. So I do feel like there's a specificity, you know. Yeah. And the other thing is, it's like a live movie, as opposed to, you know, sketch comedy. Saturday Night Live is very proscenium theater. There's a fourth wall. The audience is here. The camera is here. So you're generally filming this way, like on stage. The musicals are multidimensional. They're 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, however you want to put it, because they're happening from every angle. So there isn't really the component of, like, as a performer, it's just a weird moment because you're sort of being filmed in surround sound, and it's all happening live. So you can't really make there's not a lot of margins for error, is what I'm trying to say. I hope I'm
Right.
making that clear. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And, you know, with your performance, like you're performing to camera.
Right.
But you're doing a musical and you're doing this really
Large
huge musical number. Are you, do you have to act broadly, or do you have to tone it down for the camera?
It's funny. I don't know, and I hope that I find the way. I literally turned to Maya last week at Matthew, and I was like, I feel like every time I come on camera, they should just superimpose like a giant picture of Lucy from Peanuts with her mouth open. Like, I feel like it's just like this big, like, everything just feels so sort of loud and broad, and, you know, because musicals are like that, and this number is especially like that. I think to undersell it would be kind of boring, but anyway, you're right. It's a good question. Musicals are broad. They're broad in nature. I was just having this debate with somebody because I love musicals, but people who hate musicals find it really weird that people burst into song, and it is a very kind of overt expression of feeling, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and speaking about that, that's a good way to segue into Lady Dynamite.
Yes.
Because I have never seen such facial expressions and broad acting as I do on Lady Dynamite,
show.
Especially with Karen Grisham, Mo Collins, and Maria Bamford. you guys...
Shameless? Some would call it shameless.
Unbelievable. Like, I'm just in awe of what you're able to do.
Thanks, I think.
No, it's true. It's an incredible compliment, because I can't take my eyes away from the show, because if you turn your head, you're going to miss something amazing.
It's a million miles an hour, that show. It is moving in hyperspeed, you know, and it's somebody said it in a really kind of endearing way, because as you know, the show is about Maria's struggles with her own mental illness, and a friend was like, I love that show because more than any show in terms of tone and in terms of just content and quality and the way it's edited, it really makes me feel crazy when I'm watching it. I feel I really empathize, you know, with what I think, especially in our future, because often in season 1, you know, we really represented mania, and I think Karen Grisham and Hollywood and careerist LA can feel very manic and feel very narcissistic and feel very overwhelming, and I think that's sort of what Karen has come to represent in Maria's story. So whenever they're telling that story, you know.
Yeah. So is Karen Grisham based on people that you know, or like an amalgamation?
It's a lot of people, yeah.
It's a lot of people.
You know, I'm really not that deep of an actress. Like when I read something, I either know exactly who that person is or not. I don't usually like discover it and develop it. I usually tune in or I don't get who the person is. And I have like the warmest, most lovely representatives. They're so, and I've been with my agent since 1994. She signed me when I was in the Sunday show at the Groundlings. So, you know, has been with me for my whole career. It's really cool. But I do know a lot of Karen Grishams. I think everybody out here does. And I think in this industry in particular, kind of a bravado and brassiness are taken very in stride. I think it's sort of part of our little lexicon, you know, sass and brass and attitude, and you know, particularly the power agents of the 90s. I think that it's just, you know, it's part of the stereotype for a reason. It's kind of flash and angles.
I absolutely love the future timeline of season 2 is something I've just never seen anything like it really on television. You know, can you tell me what a sacred lady blazer is?
Again, Pam Brady's the brain behind a lot of this stuff, you know, and Mitch Hurwitz, who created the show with Maria, but Pam in particular has she's so hilariously self-aware. I think, you know, all female comic presences kind of had to fight the label of being a trailblazer and also embrace the label of being a trailblazer. I think they're all kind of combined, and so something about the actual blazer sort of representing, you know, a power businesswoman, I think she just had fun with and ran for it. So the Sacred Lady Blazer is about Maria embracing her inner feminist, you know, businesswoman, basically.
Yeah. If you had a Sacred Lady Blazer, what would it look like? Well, that is a great question. You know what I just found? This is all I can think of, but it's not even really an accurate thing.
I just discovered, which is kind of genius, and if I were a different person, I would wear it. My aunt used to work for NBC in the 70s, and so every she worked in the news division and was always like exhausted and scattered. So for Christmas we would get a like emergency box from the NBC store. You know what I mean? Like clearly like the 23rd on the way out of the elevator, you know. But I have from 1977 a satin roller derby Saturday Night Live jacket.
Oh,
and it is so fierce. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
I can't wear it because I would look like such a dick. But like at the same time, I love it so much, and I do feel like if I could own that, that would be my lady blazer. But I feel like I'm not the person that would want. I always feel like slightly, you know, deeply indebted to my SNL experience and sort of humbled by it and embarrassed that I didn't do more with it. And you know, like it's such a like loaded piece of resume binding that but my own lady blazer, if I could like rock my SNL satin, show up at an event, you know.
That would be cool. I hope you do that.
Yeah. Well, I gave it to my daughter, and I keep hoping that she like rocks it at a dance or something.
Yeah.
But she's not there with it. I mean, it's not her experience, you know. She's like, "You're embarrassing. You were on SNL. I don't want to wear a jacket."
She's embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean, I think they know that we get to do a lot of cool stuff, and they like my friends, and our life is fun. But I think, you know, I mean, I think parents are embarrassing, and then if you have loud, you know, and I find myself very amusing. So like I'll send my family like the Namaste motherfuckers thing that I did. Did you see that GIF, whatever, however you say it? They did like a teaser for Netflix, and it was like this crazy Karen Grisham scene, and I sent it to my whole family because that just I made myself laugh really hard in it, and she was like, "That's really funny," but you could tell she was like, "Oh my god, like just like what is happening?" My mother's screaming like titties to the sky.
That's awesome.
So
So in season 2, you get to kind of take on a director role.
Yes.
And you're wearing monk's robes.
Yeah. We women's be doing it. That's my favorite line of the whole season. We women's be doing it.
I mean, are you getting direction to just be that extreme and out of control, or is it something that just starts naturally happening when you're in that set environment? Or
she was always written extremely ADD, I guess would be the way that I put it. I mean, to me, that's a very businesswoman thing, that executives often have this kind of like ADD kind of a mania to the way that this thing is done. I need to get this done. And Karen Grisham, what I like about her is that she was always written with tremendous focus each scene. So last season I felt like I'm very clean, that I can make a lot of money out of Maria, that I will wish her the best so long as she's making me money, and I will see the best in her so long as she's making me money. And reflecting well on me and allowing me to be the expert on her, which is what Karen. This season, So as we, I think as the writing they realized the writing would be very comfortable for me. In the first 3 or 4 episodes of last year. It got looser and broader, and because Pam is who she is, and we get along so well, and the set is always they have great directors, you know. They've always allowed me to kind of play with it a little bit as well, but really the writing is now reinforces all of the kind of loose mania and insanity for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, did you see, like, when you saw the final product? Did you like how it's cut together and like the crazy dubstep music that they put over the future world? It's like
those cuts are so jarring.
Out of control.
It's really crazy. I know. It's like, fantastic.
It might give people seizures.
Yeah, I've seen it on Twitter. Not that people have had seizures, but I've had people say like, "I love it," but I literally feel like insane when I'm watching it. Yeah. But I'm so proud to be a part of it. I have no other way of putting it. I mean, I feel very fortunate. You sit around your house and hope that you get to do, you know, make a living, let alone make a living doing a job that is as fun as this one. It's really been an incredible experience.
What do you think? I mean, now that we've seen, you know, past, present, and future. Like, what's next? Like, how are they going to top it?
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of, really, this is one that's so, I mean, when she called me, she was like, listen, your Tesla's going to crash into your other Tesla, your self-driving Tesla, and you're going to get creamed and get spiritual. And your creaming leads to getting spiritual. And I was like, and literally, for a whole first episode, we shot all of that monologue and everything, and then I was like, wait, so can I just be clear? So does spiritual just mean that I wear robes and I have a bunch of Buddhist shit around my office? And she was like, yes, that's all it means. So it was kind of like a... Like, it's more of like a power move. Like, I feel like people are now like, I'm spiritual now, but I'm going to use that to feel even better than you in this situation. So she's always, and you know, I won't give anything away, but they're very careful about the way they plot everything, you know. So yeah, I just wait for Pam to call me and tell me the good news.
That's pretty exciting.
It's pretty great, yeah.
Okay, before I let you go, I have 4 more questions for you.
Yeah.
So this is first best, last worst.
Oh.
So it just starts with
it's one of
every
these.
Sentence starts.
It's a James Lipton moment.
Yes, it's a total James Lipton
I like it.
By the way, I've always wanted to ask the James Lipton questions to people.
They're good questions.
I wanted to ask them to James Lipton when he was nominated.
Would have been so satisfying.
It would have been so great. But anyway, we had to interview him in New York. That's another story. First job that made you think, I've made it.
Well, I think making it as a complete frame of mind is when it's when you start saying what you want to be as what you do. So for, you know, a long time I was just a hostess at a restaurant, but eventually my husband actually was like, you need to just start saying I'm an actress, because when you go home, you know, I'd be like apologizing for it. So my first job that I got was a radio commercial for Wiener Schnitzel. And I just decided that it was like the signpost, you know, it was a union job and I got residuals, and I knew I had a feeling like, oh, okay, maybe I'm going to do this for a living, you know.
Awesome.
I didn't make this up. You don't just fall into the Wiener Schnitzel radio ads, guys.
No. That's a big deal.
Yeah. That takes muscle.
Yeah. Best day on set for Lady Dynamite.
For Lady Dynamite?
Yes, best day on set.
They're all great. I really am not. I have two favorite days. One was in season 1 when Bruce shows up in the disguise as the tree, and we do Boohoo Roos, like when we're shooting her, the her weird infomercial, Maria's infomercial, and we had all of Video Village going Boohoo Roos because we were mocking him. That was an incredibly fun day, and and then this season, I think it was the first day when I was really hollering action as a director, because we had a great day with all these just absurd actions and cuts.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Last time you made an on-camera mistake and how you fixed it.
Ooh. Last time.
Or this is the last time, yeah. You can...
Gosh, I don't remember. I black out all of my mistakes because I become so. And then I'll think of it right before I fall asleep tonight. I'll have hot shame and then fall asleep with the shame.
No, I don't want to give you
on
hot shame.
camera. I mean, you know, I don't do very much live stuff anymore.
Right.
So every time I work, I make mistakes, lots and lots and lots of them. But you get to do takes over and over again. So they edit out your disastrous, you know. Lady Dynamite this season was hard. I mean, those were big monologues. They're long, wordy, didactic, show-offy monologues. So there were days that those were cleaner than others.
Yeah. Huh.
Bad answer.
Worst audition experience.
Oh God, so many of them. Musical theater ones can be the worst because they're really old-fashioned, and there's, you know, a bunch of people sitting behind a table, and I had a falsettos audition a year and a half ago, full on, like Albert Brooks sweat, like through the outfit. I auditioned for a crack mother of 4 who was cooking crack and burnt down her house accidentally for ER. And it was, I don't know why I got the audition. I don't understand why they called me. I actually called my agent and was like, are you sure this is for me and not for Anna Gunn? Because we were both with her at the time. And she was like, no, they want to see you. Kind of. Anyway, it was a disaster. I was not a good crackhead. I was not a good actress. It was terrible. It was a terrible, terrible, terrible audition.
Oh boy.
It was. It was like, I remember thinking that I was doing like a Wayans Brothers, like bad Wayans Brothers like impression of a bad character.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like a poorly executed character. Yeah.
Do you have any musical theater skills that are kind of on their way out, but you still can like stuff like tap experience?
I don't dance. I'm not a good dancer. I took a lot of ballet as a kid, but I'm not a tapper. I'm not a...
I often wonder if people end up at auditions where they're like, okay, now do your tap routine.
Your time step. Yeah, no, it's actually why I ended up going into comedy instead of musical theater, because I couldn't dance. I couldn't get through a dance call. And I didn't have the guts to go to New York and just try to do musical theater. It was too scary. So I had to wait till I was a known comedian to do musical theater. And I mean, mostly... I don't have to. I'm not called on to dance really, so move, but not like dance. I play the violin. That's my secret weapon.
Nice.
I whip it out as needed. I mean, comedically. There's nothing funnier than bad violin, in my humble opinion. And luckily, it's been a long time, so I'm terrible now.
Oh, good. You've grown into the role.
Yes, I'd use it in my act. I love it. It's so old school and vintage and old fashioned, and I love it. It makes me laugh every time.
That's excellent. Well, Anna, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Check out A Christmas Story Live, and Lady Dynamite is on Netflix.
It is.
Yeah. Bye.